I think they might have just fixed a major problem with this floor plan. Welcome everybody, Josh the RV Nerd with Bish's RV with a little bit of a surprise here today. This is a newer floor plan to the Imagine family that I didn't know I was going to be running into today. It's a popular kind of camping concept out there where it's a smaller family bunkhouse camper that gives you the space and the seating of a super slide without the length, weight, and cost of a super slide. It's very much in the family of something like a Rockwood 2509S, a very popular layout. But as I mentioned, I think Imagine has actually done a couple things on here that overcome some of the common challenges this style of floor plan usually has by going with an extended straight countertop on the camp side. They have created some very good functional prep space that most versions of a shorter bunkhouse like this lack. Also, by not having a peninsula countertop, when the slide closes, you're able to walk in through the door, get to all your kitchen stuff, get to the bunks, get to the bathroom. Really handy for those family roadside potty stops, because the kids always need to use the bathroom right after you pass the last exit on the highway, am I right? But like any RV, it's got its ups and its downs. This style of floor plan allows more room to walk around the Murphy bed. It allows better storage under the Murphy bed that doesn't bleed into the living space. However, it is a 3-fold bendy bed mattress, which is not my personal favorite thing out there. Some people don't mind them though. So there's, different benefits to different models. This is a new thing. I wanted to get out there and get in front of you. Now, this is technically a very early 26 generation of this. There will be some updates that will be applied, like the lighting is going to change, the flooring is going to change. So some of the elements that you're going to see here on camera today will update through the year. So don't be surprised if today's footage looks a little bit different from when you visit, a dealership somewhere. Now, once again, a quick housekeeping note. This is very early access to this footage. I might be the very first person who's ever had a chance to put the camera to this thing. And I know for a fact there are some additional changes coming. I don't know the full extent of them. I can see where this already has the updated 2026 light package applied to it as compared to those linear straight line fusion lights. It looks like it's still using the previous flooring. So I've heard a lot of people like, man, I really don't care for that floor. I don't think it looks terrible, but I'm no Martha Stewart. So, I'm tripping over the sofa, sorry. Live from New York, it's Saturday night. The flooring's going to be changing. What it's going to look like, I don't know. So stay tuned to future stuff. So if the flooring makes you puke, maybe just hang out, take in the rest of the video, and then wait for something to update later in the year. I mentioned this floor plan fixes some challenges that similar builders, Rockwood, Jayco, have some similar floor plans. They're not the only ones. They're just the first ones that come to mind because they're some of the more popular. They usually go with an L-shaped peninsula countertop here, and I think they're probably slightly shorter than this camper is, but by extending this RV just slightly, the extra counter space, the extra awesome storage that you get, the wide open nature of this floor plan, and the traveling road mode function and accessibility of this RV will be superior. That being said, this RV also has its own little drawbacks here and there, but let's kind of start back here in the bunk corner. Notice the individual separated bunk curtains and the fact that you have breeze-through windows. Now, when you're sitting in the dinette, these windows function as campside windows, which is nice. What I have not done is looked up here for power outlets or anything. I don't see anything. I do appreciate how those are the same blackout roller shades as the rest of the RV. Oh, okay. We got a couple cool things here, actually. So these little cubbies, these will be your charger pockets. And what they're doing is the wall between the bunks and the bathroom is hollow. And most manufacturers don't do anything with it. So they're just putting the cubby in there. That light switch, first of all, I love its position because as parents, you can reach it from ground level, but it's also a dimmer. So if you want to kind of just dull the lights down a little bit, you can. One cautionary tale I'll give you, and this isn't just this RV, it's almost any bunkhouse, double over double like this. If the bottom bunk privacy curtain is pulled, it will not get really good air conditioning airflow, and sometimes the kids will sweat themselves out of there. So if you got one child that's a little bit of a hot body, you might want to put them in the top bunk, basically. The entertainment situation over here, that TV can pivot. So if you want to watch if you want to watch TV from the sofa or the dinette, that TV can pivot around, but you kind of have to pick and choose. Are you going to watch TV from the sofa or front Murphy bed, or over here in the dining arrangement? Now, the trick is, you look at this, you say, but I lost an overhead cabinet for that television. You kind of just moved the storage a little bit, because this RV has this full, like, pantry dresser tower, almost floor to ceiling over here on the right side of the screen, that most Murphy bed bunkhouses don't. Again, because it's a little bit longer, and because it is slightly longer, you have far more lower cabinet space there. And they're able to pull that off because the refrigerator is not on the campside wall. The refrigerator is actually built over here in the slide box with the dinette. Let me slide out of here for you. At my size and my lack of flexibility, that's not always the easiest thing to do. Now, the trick with this is this refrigerator is bigger than just that pantry. It's wider, it's fatter, if you will. That means that they weren't able to go with what I call a true U dinette. This is one of two things I don't personally love about this RV. Sorry, the camera works a little wonky there. I'm kind of just shooting it from the hip off to the side. It looks like a U dinette. On paper, they're going to call it a U dinette, but it's kind of a pretend U dinette. I'm tripping over the counter. God bless America, I'm tripping over everything in this video today. This is the size of a normal 2-bench dinette with a little mini bench thrown in the back. And personally, I don't care for that, because I actually can only sit maybe 3 people here now, because my feet and the table legs are fighting with one another. And that means that I have a smaller table, since the table can't go all the way to the wall. I would personally prefer this floor plan with just a 2-bench dinette. I would love to hear your feedback on that. If I'm wrong, that's okay, because it's just my idea, and I'm asking, so please don't hold back. It's a slim rack system, slight step up slide. So they really did need to go with the pedestal legs to keep that table from slinging around in transit necessarily. So I guess you could say, awkward as that may be for some people, in this instance, I think that's the correct execution. Now, naturally, that can fold down into a sleeper, and you see that they do have the easy access doors for the dinette bench ends. To make that even better, if you want to level up your storage a little bit further, go to Walmart, Target, Amazon, whatever, and get some kind of plastic tote or something like that, and slide that in there. Even if it doesn't go the full depth of the dinette bench, because what that will allow you to do is reach the back of the dinette bench without needing to, like, back strip everything out of the way. It just makes it makes pulling that cargo up toward you simpler and easier. Now, this, again, is an RV that still belongs to the factory. It's not a Bish's RV unit, so there's a lot of various shipping packaging in place. I haven't fully unpackaged everything because we don't own it. I don't feel right doing that. I'm kind of a guest here, so pardon the plastic on that portable picnic table, which actually just stows in that little slot right there under the little Murphy sofa, which is kind of cool. And something else here, you might notice, this provides, I think, really decent around the bed storage. And by going with that 3-piece folding bendy bed mattress, they've eliminated something that a lot of people said they didn't like. A lot of people said they didn't like being able to see the bottom of the mattress when it's folded up in transit. And either way, it has to fold, so you're kind of remaking the bed at night. But at least now, you're not looking at the bottom of a bed when you're not using it. So let me ask you folks who have commented on the videos in the past, is that acceptable, or do they need to keep working on this? And what would you suggest? I've asked the question. You folks have said you appreciate it when we show you how the Murphy beds work on the different campers. I do have to put you into crazy, stupid fisheye wide-angle lens mode to make this happen, though. So keep in mind, the sizing is going to look a little bit wonky. You might have noticed, by the way, this does have the handy little fold-down console right here. And this isn't technically a jackknife sofa. It's actually a rollover sofa. I don't think that necessarily makes it better than anything else. It's just a different variety. And there's a little kind of U-latch that holds this in place. Now, this is just a gravity flop and drop Murphy bed. But by actually giving us a platform, it does create a flatter space for this mattress. But, as I mentioned, it is a 3-piece and a biscuit folding bendy bed mattress. And unlike most Imagines, it is not a true queen bed. It's 76 inches long or something like that. Basically, it's short enough that I don't need to take my shoes off, because when I lay down here, my feet will hang off the bed. Now, you've got a couple things. You've got some extra little accent lights up here, so you're not getting blinded by the light. That used to be a really bright Smurf light. It was a Kmart blue light special, and they've dimmed that down. But you've also got these headboard power pockets up here, just like any Imagine. They are CPAP size, but obviously, like I've got a standing wireless phone charger with just my phone magnets to it at night, and it makes life a lot easier for me. I could have room for that and a book and all kinds of crap in there if I was so inclined. Like if you like to have some kind of noise canceling headphones at night or something like that, like my wife has a sleep mask and she'll listen to like whale sounds, like Finding Dory. She's like, "Go to sleep." I don't know if you speak whale. It might need to put a little translation at the bottom of the screen right there, but you get the idea. That is there and available. Now, this is a benefit and a drawback. It's annoying that you're going to have to remake the bed every morning, every night, and I will demonstrate for you, but the slide out cannot close with the bed down. A lot of people, when they get to their destination, they'll just make the bed once and leave it. Although it is a little bit in the doorway, you can still obviously walk around for fire code reasons. To put it away, you fold up the one section, lift her up, lock it down. Oops, of course I gotta get that out of the way. She rolls over, you flip it and reverse it, and then you're done. I don't know. What do you think about this? I told you some of the drawbacks. One of the benefits here, it creates more room to walk around the bed, and it does still maintain a full front pass-through storage cavity that a Rockwood-style one-piece Murphy bed wouldn't necessarily offer. But then you got to mess with the mattress, and replacing it's harder. So, ups and downs. And I mentioned that the TV can pivot. Here's a view of that from the sofa. I'm obviously on the right-hand side of the sofa as you're sitting down on it. But if you want to, whether you're laying in bed, assuming you haven't pulled the privacy curtain for the front bed, which obviously they did include, you could pivot the TV around. That is a smart TV, by the way. I do appreciate the extra counter space. I haven't looked for power outlets. I see outlets there. Okay. We have one set of power outlets. I guess, like that one set of outlets doesn't feel like enough, but that's the really only open chunk of kitchen counter space. I guess I don't need power outlets anywhere else in the kitchen. It just doesn't feel like a lot, but I also don't know that it's wrong. I don't know. What do you think about that? The drawer space here is awesome. The total kitchen storage in this, I actually think, is better than most similar builders provide. And just that, to me, that's the kind of under the kitchen, under the counter trash storage solution I've been begging manufacturers to employ for years. Now, earlier I called this a pantry closet. It's because it's kind of a little bit of a half and half. It's let me get the camera up close so it'll pick that up right there, but you can see how there actually is a hanging rod in there. And directly above the sink makes a perfect little spot. My guess, this would be great for like all your coffee cups or just general drinking cups, all that kind of stuff. Easy to miss, really smart, nice detail though. Place here to put some paper towels, and in case you're thinking that's a little small, that actually does telescope a little bit. Also, perhaps the sneakiest best feature here, depending on your personal preferences, this is called a soap dispenser. Well, did you know that you can put some Jack Daniel's soap in here and it really takes the edge off when the kids are arguing? Ask me how I know. What's funny is I'm I'm not a whiskey guy. I have too much of a sweet tooth. You hit me with whiskey and I get those cough medicine shivers. I'm like, but my wife's a whiskey girl. I just ain't got the constitution for it. She's, you know, it's kind of like, it takes a real man to mow the lawn and leave the stripy lines in it. And that man is my wife. I love you, babe. You are awesome. Linen cabinet space here on the left. But remember how they put those bunk cubbies in? These pockets are not super deep, so your storage doesn't get lost in there. Now, you're probably only going to fit like one towel per cubby rolled up in place, but I don't know. I guess it's not nothing. You also have some additional kind of towel space down there under that extended part of the countertop. That is a porcelain foot flush stool, and you can see fairly fluffy friendly. There's plenty of space right there. The thing though is this RV in the XLS Imagine series doesn't have that barreled ceiling. So it is a conventional 6.5 foot ceiling height. So my head is absolutely up in that skylight bubble, like all the way, especially when I'm wearing my shoes. Wearing my shoes, I'm probably representing 6'2" in height. You know, depending on the hats and the boots and things, my height, people are like, why does your height keep changing on camera? Because the shoes and the clothes that I'm wearing change. Flat-footed, I'm 6'1", and I've been that way for a long, long time. But depending on what I'm wearing, I want you to know how it's, God bless, I'm tripping over the sofa again. Grr! Who even put the sofa there? Stupid. Anyway, moving on. Slide closed. Road mode. Verifying something I mentioned sooner. Yeah, you definitely cannot use the bed in transit. It's just not possible. However, other than that, you have a straight, wide open path here. You want to stop, you know, make a quick sandwich for the kiddos. Maybe use bathroom, something like that. You know what I haven't done? Let me verify to make sure this bathroom door can open. Sometimes bathroom doors will hit the slide, but yeah, that's not happening here. So yeah, it's not perfect road mode access, as is typically the case with the Murphy bed model, but it's better than most. So that might be a helpful factor for you. So here's a little bit of a challenge that I have. This floor plan is so new and I'm getting such early access to it that I don't actually know the hard length or the weights on it. Hello, cottonwood fuzz floating through the air right there. I don't actually know how much this thing weighs. So I'm going to verbally give you some estimations. By the time this footage comes out, hopefully we've actually gotten those specifications and we've put them on screen for you. But I'm going to estimate this should be generally half-ton towable. And again, I'm speaking in some very high-level generality terms because I don't have the hard figures, but typically an RV of this size with these features will be within the realm of reasonable towing for a late model tow package. Have a beautiful frickin' day out here. Good Lord. I've been needing some sunshine lately. That is a slim rack slide system, by the way, just in case you're curious. Green Design got away from Schwintex, I think almost completely pretty much last year. This is also a different kind of chassis. This is a Norco huck-bolted frame. It's not your traditional Lippert I-beam chassis, in case you're curious. Enclosed docking center, not something you typically find on a Murphy bed bunkhouse family camper. Kind of cool. Now you see the two red paddle switches at the top there? Those are two different disconnects. One is your solar disconnect, and one is your house battery disconnect. That is the correct way of doing it. If a manufacturer only provides a house disconnect and doesn't also include a solar disconnect, that is essentially a recipe to potentially cook the charge controller and cause it to stop working. But that won't typically happen until after the RV is out of warranty. So that is a cool little indicator of a product that is intended to be used, owned, and enjoyed for a longer term period. Those are the little things I look for. Holy crap, dude. Look at the awning space on this. Like, I'm kind of taking this in live, doing it live like Bill O'Reilly in real time here with you folks, because this, again, is a new floor plan. It's not like I've seen this one over the last couple of years. It's a similar floor plan to other things that have existed, but it's new to Imagine. What do you think about the steps, by the way? Not going with those like more ride or Lippert kind of stable steps, the traditional fold out steps. They have gone with the aluminum. I call it like boat dock plank style of steps right there. This is an XLS, imagine. This is the middle member of the family. So it doesn't have a special suspension upgrade. It is a common leaf spring system, but we do still have Goodyear tires. We do also have anti-lock braking and electronic anti-sway. If you don't know what any of that means, when you're going down the road, if the trailer starts to wiggle, the tail waggles the dog, the trailer will try to sort itself out without you needing to take a lot of action. Additionally, if you have an oh crap moment and you have to stab the brakes, and let's say you're on it's raining hard, you're on a lot of water, or it's shoulder season and the road's a little frosty and it's maybe a little bit slippery, the trailer will try to track itself better and not spin you. Like if you get into an emergency brake scenario, sometimes the trailer will try to pass the truck. That's why you see those pictures on Facebook where like the trailer whipped around in front of the vehicle and then it's like laying on its side. This RV has a braking system that will automatically actively work to avoid that, which I think is really cool. Now, a couple really key details here. First of all, it's a single sewer outlet. Nice. Secondly, you got your stinky slinky handy helper tube there. Double nice. Double up. But look at your gray and your black tank poles. You notice how they're kind of mounted down and just sort of hanging there? That's because your actual gate valve is enclosed and protected in the forced air heated underbelly. That's another nice little extended season protection feature. Your rear ladder, obviously factory equipped, so you don't have to go get some kind of loose ladder to figure out where you're going to store it, because this RV doesn't have a good place to store it, so it's nice it's built right on. You do have a 200-watt solar panel up there. 40-amp charge controller paired with that means you could expand on that probably to, 500 watts pretty easy. You also have a 2-inch rear receiver hitch on the back of the RV for bike rack stuff. And I gave you a look at this, but I kind of glossed over it. I want to zoom back in on here. So first of all, just having Dad's medicine cabinet outdoors for the bottled water and the barley pop is really handy. Secondly, you got a family in this sucker, and they actually give you the larger family-sized griddle. This isn't that little thing that you can fit maybe 4 burgers on. And sometimes people are worried about, grease or something splattering around. First of all, it obviously extends out, but it also has this little shield right here. And then up in here, you just have little handy extra pocket of storage, but a little light right there as well. So if you are doing a little grilling at night, you might be able to kind of be backlit and see what you're doing. It just sort of depends on the way that you're camping, what you're doing with it. Overall, I think this is I think it's successful, but that's just me, man. So, what do you think on this little half twist of the Murphy bed bunkhouse concept? Like I said, there's things about it I think are really smart, and there's things about it I don't personally like, but that's just my opinion, man, as the dude would say. That doesn't mean I'm not an authority. It's not my way or the highway. I will leave you some links, as I usually do, in the video description. First of all, to get an idea of at least MSRP, if not discounted pricing on our website. Grand Design doesn't always let us publish our discounted price on our website. It's annoying. I don't like it, but that's just the world we live in. Most manufacturers don't have quite that restriction on their travel trailers. The other thing I'll do is, let's see here. Rockwood, Jayco makes some very good similar versions to a floor plan like this. I'll leave you some links to those if you want to look at those and cross compare from the comfort of your home, and then decide if you do or don't want to come see one of those in person. That's my goal, to help just make the experience a little bit simpler and easier for you. And if you appreciate that, hit that subscribe button. Maybe we'll see you again. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.